All right, welcome back. Now let's turn our attention to politics, and this time we're talking about Anambra State. All now seems set for the November 18 governorship election in that state. All the major contending parties have picked their candidates through primary elections. For the All Progressives Congress APC, Honorable Tony Nwoye defeated Anduba, George Moghalu, and others to become the APC flag bearer. Aseloka Obaze was the favorite of delegates in the People's Democratic Party's primaries. Obaze, of course, defeated Ifeanyi Uba, Alex Obiogbolu, and others to snatch the ticket of the Umbrella Party. However, the primary elections across the political parties have remained the subject of discourse even after winners have emerged. Stella Odwa, for instance, an aspirant of the PDP, pulled out of the race on the day of the primaries due to what she described as imposition of candidates by some power brokers in the party. She said new entrants into the party were anointed above the old loyal members. And the chairman of the PDP primary, who is also the governor of Ebonyi State, Dave Umahi, in his report submitted to the National Secretariat of the party, also alleged threat to his life and that of the committee members during the Anambra primaries. The APC seems to have conducted a fair primary election, although there were allegations of fake delegates now in the register. Though some candidates complained about this development, but it seems the situation is not as serious enough to rock the boat. As expected, incumbent Governor Willie Obiano secured the ticket of ABGA just as the crisis in the party deepens. Some staunch members of ABGA are reported to be on their way out of the party, having alleged that there was no level playing field in the primaries that produced the governor as the party's flag bearer. So how will the November 18 Anambra State governorship election play out? We just have to wait and see. But joining me to discuss this further is Arinze Igboeli, who is a member of the APC and, of course, actively worked for the aspiration of Anduba. Unfortunately, Anduba did not win the primary of the APC. Arinze, thank you very much for joining us on the program. It's quite, tell us how Anduba's camp is taking the outcome of the APC primary election. Your principal lost.
Well, thank you, DG. It's nice to be here again. Like I will always say, I've always said to press people, the elections, as you know, were fraught with several irregularities, and we cannot say that such irregularities did not affect the outcome of the primaries itself. But I will always say I cannot speak for Senator Anduba. I can only speak for myself. And I understand that when Senator Anduba is ready to speak to the world, he will do so. But for now, I cannot speak for Senator Anduba.
Okay, let me ask you, don't you think that part of the reasons why Dr. Anduba lost that election is just because, look, there seems to be this consensus, even though unwritten, that the governorship of the state has basically been zoned to the north, and Dr. Anduba, of course, is not from the northern senatorial zone. So, and you look across the various political parties now that have presented candidates. I'm talking about the major political parties. All of them have decided to pick their candidates from the north.
There was never a consensus even amongst the politicians. For example, Senator Anduba had the support of a lot of Anambra North politicians. People like Ralph Okeke and Honorable Kalista, a number of them from Anambra North. These are powerhouses in Anambra North. And so even if you look at the political dynamics and the history of the state, no politician worth his salt would have supported such a consensus that the ticket should go to Anambra North. Are you now telling me that the candidate, if 21 years should eventually win the elections, 21 years will not run for 8 years, or Obaze will not run for 8 years? I don't know if you are getting the dynamics here. So you cannot say that, that there was a consensus within or outside the APC. No.
Because you raised this issue, I have to ask you that. Some people have said, you look at the dynamics that you've just talked about there, that it would appear the dynamics would favor the incumbent governor in the elections. I'm saying Governor Willie Obiano now, because some people have said if you look at that dynamics, that it just would make sense to return Willie Obiano because he'll be doing just 4 years. He has just 4 years more to go. But that if you return someone new, say for instance, like Tony Nwoye, if you return Tony Nwoye as elected, then it means you will have the governorship stay in, you might have the governorship stay in Anambra North for longer than necessary, beyond the 8 years that it should stay there.
Yes, that is why I said that there was never at any time a consensus. But as a true party man, I will not come and say that it favors Willie Obiano. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. Although there are people who tend to want to believe that with the outcome of the primaries that Willie might have a second term. I would beg to disagree. This is democracy. It's about numbers. It's about people. It's about issues. And if any of these other candidates can get their acts right, then of course, why not? But, it's democracy. It's democracy. So let's just see how it goes. Yeah.
Another question I would want to ask you is, going forward for your party, what do you think your party needs to do now to ensure that it goes into the election November 18th as one united front and possibly win the election?
Well, as a true party man, we believe that the APC, the interest of the party, as they always say, supersedes all other interests. But you must also understand that injustice done to one is injustice to all. And so I would like to see how the elders at the party pan it out. I would like to see how the stakeholders pan it out. And if they're able to arrive at a consensus, then it's okay. The APC will give a good fight. Yes, we will always give a good fight. But as I always said, certain actions must be checked. Certain palliatives must be offered. People who are hurt must be considered. And when we bring them back to the fray, or when we want to, bring about the healing into the system, then can only the APC now decide and say, okay, we now want to achieve this, or this is what we want to achieve.
All right, Arinze Igboli, thank you very much for your contributions, and thank you very much for joining us on the program. Well, as Arinze Igboli, who is a member of the APC, I should say, and of course worked assiduously for Anambra. Unfortunately, his aspirant did not win the primary of the APC. Well, that's it on the program. We thank you very much for watching. But you can watch it again by going to our website, www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also watch us on YouTube by subscribing to our YouTube channel. The address is youtube.com/TV360Nigeria. Do subscribe now to get the latest videos and updates on what's happening around the country. You can join us on Google Plus as well. Is at TV360 Nigeria, or you can just like us on Facebook. The address is facebook.com/TV360 online. You can also follow us on Twitter. Our handle is at TV360 Nigeria. We thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again next week.